Good evening, namaskar to all. Today we are remembering one of the great masters of dance, Ramgopal ji, and we have on our panel very eminent personalities, Padma Bhushan, Tagore Ratna, Kumudini Lakhia ji, and also Padma Shri, Dr. Sunil Kothari, well-known dance critic. So I would like to initially start the program with a very small clip of Ram Gopal ji, in the green room, and I'll just play the video for a minute. I'll just play the video. All right.
A beautiful dancer, such a beautiful dancer, and so graceful, so graceful. I mean, he's like a female dancer, not a male dancer.
He was quite a charismatic character, being half Burmese and half Rajput.
He was always elegant, always with that turban.
We used to call him the Indian god.
The Westerners think he's an Indian Raja.
He was very fond of himself. He was a narcissist.
He was such a strong person inside. Such a strong. His arms were like water, when he used to do his dance of the setting sun, it's like water. But inside, that person was so strong. He could face anything.
People were fascinated by his movements and his looks and his expression and his talk. And he talked very beautifully.
Don't just dance as a god, be that god.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, Sunil ji, can you tell us a little bit? Can you do some opening remarks about Ram Gopal?
The opening remark would have been, but let me tell you. I was not Ramgopal Lakhia.
Okay.
It was in 1957. Kumudini met in Bombay across Medan. It was 1957. He gave me the book of Ramgopal, Becoming the Heaven. I read cover to cover, but the Mulakat was only in 1964. I did not meet him earlier, but I took a thought about Ramgopal. I've seen number of photographs of and I had last time what we spoke about Bhushan. He was a contemporary Bhushan. But in case of Gopal, he was trained in classical and Kathakali. Whereas we had some training in Kathakali, but not actually dancer. Ramgopal had a sound background, the great Guru Pillai, and Kuchipudi from Guru Kunjukuru, Kerala Kalamandala. Later on, after many years, we went together to Kerala Kalamandala, that will come in the film. But now let us hear more from Kumudini, who danced with him when she was barely 18. she had finished her studies in Allahabad and became a graduate in of all the things in agriculture. So she studied Kathak from Radhelal Sharma, and then she was very well known as a Kathak dancer. And he took her at the age of 18 to London. And then from there, Kumudini never looked back. So now over to Kumudini Lakhia.
कुमुदिनी जी, हम कुछ फोटोज दिखा रहे हैं आप रामगोपाल जी के साथ.
Tillana, this was Tillana with Ramgopal. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Look at the line. This was in Taj Mahal. In Dublin, 1951, my God.
तो कुमुदिनी जी, आप थोड़ा शेयर कीजिए, आप कब मिले? When did you meet Ramgopal ji for the first time? And what was your thought? Can you tell us?
Right.
Kumudini ji, we want you to tell us about Ramgopal. When you met him. Voice नहीं आ रहा है.
You say about your own journey with Ramgopal. Kumi, don't worry, you start telling us the story.
नहीं, शायद वॉइस नहीं आ रहा है.
माइक क्लोज है क्या?
माइक ऑन है.
Sound.
I have no sound.
Oh.
I cannot hear.
Okay, one minute. What is happening? Hello. माइक तो चल रहा है. Now, can you hear?
Kumi, can you hear now?
No.
Still the sound is not coming.
आपको आ रहा है मेरा साउंड, सुनील जी?
आपको मेरा सुना रहा है, आपका सुन रहा हूँ मैं.
हाँ, ठीक है. उनको नहीं आ रहा है क्या? अरे वाह.
Smiling all right.
Talk about Ramgopal.
Technology. Right now, start speaking Ramgopal. टाइप करके लिख दो.
टाइप चैट में नहीं, चैट वो नहीं देख रहे हैं ना. अच्छा, अपना चैट बॉक्स कहीं है. एक मिनट.
Shall I write on that?
No, that where do we tell her? Kindly speak on Ramgopal.
I sent it. एक तो मैंने प्राइवेट चैट भेजा.
अच्छा, हाँ, उधर. ओके.
But how can she see that?
Yeah, but I don't know if she's seeing.
You give me a broadly her own frame. Complete frame दो उसका, कुमुदिनी का.
हाँ. आप बात कीजिए रामगोपाल के ऊपर.
Kumi, are you able to hear?
उनका ऑडियो तो चल रहा है.
So she is only to speak. All right, you start showing the film more.
हाँ, I'll show the film in the meanwhile.
Yeah, she has got up in between and
हाँ,
I'm calling her daughter. I'm telling her daughter to help her.
Yeah. Somebody. ठीक है, एक मिनट. I'll show this. जब तक मैं I'll show the film. How how Ramgopal got inspired in Mysore. He just started dancing on the charcoal, the hot charcoals, and then
Right.
yeah, I'll just show that.
There's a little temple, it still exists in the wilds of Mysore state, not far from Mysore, between Bangalore and Mysore, called Bhushan in Mysore state. And once we went there for a temple ceremony, I must have been under 11. And I heard these gigantic booming drums from some miles away at a guest house where we were. And I said, what's going on there? Why are the drums so insistent, so powerful, like peals of thunder? And my host said to me, well, there's going to be a tremendous harvest Thanksgiving festival. And I went with them subsequently, and this little temple, and these enormous drums. Can you imagine the sound it made? It just coursed through my veins, and my feet itched. I felt I was standing on hot coals in the fire during the performance that evening. I just tore my coat off and just went into a wild abandon. That's the kind of intoxicated frenzy and possession. As I say, it was a possession. If you ask me where did I get possessed first, I said my feet would catch fire. I'd feel my solar plexus going around like a fast-moving electric fan, and then spread through the forearm to the feet and the hands. And I just absolutely abandoned myself. Because I think really in dancing, you have to get possessed. You get so hypnotized, so possessed, that your possession then communicates itself to those who watch you.
Yeah. So
I think it was the film from where he was showing the Kathakali movement, because he was trained by Guru Kunjukurup in Kathakali. So the film was made on when I saw God dance. Ayesha Abraham, whose film we are going to show later on, she has taken this sequence to suggest that even this film, what we saw was much later. It was made much later in 19 maybe 85, 86. But Ramgopal by that time was still very, very active. A very strong, well-built body, and had done very thorough training. Therefore, what we have been watching about the Kathakali movement, very strongly, very expressive face, etc. What was interesting about him, that at a young age, his father was Rajput and his mother was a Burmese lady. That was very cross-breeding. He was a very handsome man. And as in the beginning, when we see that with makeup, etc., he was like a female dancer, but strong and very good-looking, handsome man. Both Uday Shankar and Ramgopal are very good-looking men, etc. God doesn't create any more such handsome man anymore. Now we don't have such beautiful people as good-looking as them. However, when he was learning his Kathakali and came back to Mysore, his friend was one Professor U.S. Krishna Rao. And he and Krishna Rao will go together on a cycle. And the Maharaj of Mysore was very fond of dancing. So in his garden party, Ramgopal will go and perform dance. And then he came to know that his father is a Rajput, is a lawyer. Then he went and told his father, okay, he's a wonderful boy, he's a very good looking boy, he learns so well, he dances. Let him dance. Why do you not allow him to perform? Let him become a great artist. He doesn't want to become a lawyer.
I want to show that clipping. You have interviewed him about
yes.
father. I'll just show that. 1 second. You see this.
Good, great.
He's telling about
Kunjukuru.
You had earlier, you had seen that performance in Bangalore.
I saw the film.
This was 37 years ago in Sangeet Natak Academy. He's telling about his story. So we are interviewing for the Sangeet Natak Academy.
Good, great. Valathol, and my guru's Kunjaguru.
You had earlier, you had seen them performance in Bangalore.
I saw them in
costumes
Bangalore.
and
The full costumes and the full makeup, and I was taken backstage and saw these people lie down as personalities, and an hour or two later when they got up with the makeup, real chutti makeup on their face, they were different gods, goddesses, demons, heroes, warriors, so on and so forth. And that for me was, and still remains for me, the greatest, most exciting dance, the pure traditional Kathakali.
Was there some opposition from your family when you were learning dance?
No, well, as long as I danced as an amateur, should I say, as my father used to say, a madman dancing possessed by the dance. As long as I did that, my father didn't seem to mind. But when he found I was getting very serious and wanted to dedicate my whole life to learning this art, to seeking it out, to finding it, I remember
He had different plans for you.
he wanted me to be a lawyer. He wanted to be a bar at law like himself, and that was abhorrent to me, the thought of that. So I was very much against it, but my mother, bless her wonderful spirit and heart and understanding, she said that I was to have the choice and to do what I loved to do, which was the dance, which I subsequently did, overcoming the parental difficulties of my father. I went to Kerala and started to work.
How long were you in Kerala with Kunjaguru?
Well, I was going and coming ever since end of 33, 34. And I think I went there right up till 38, even coming back from Europe and then going back to Kerala, Kalamandam with Valathol. There are pictures to lots of photographs.
Yeah. So, आप बताइए. Yeah.
So it was very interesting. He was a great speaker.
हाँ.
So he tells about his travels with La Mary, one of the great American ethnic dancers, who happened to pass through Bangalore in the year 1931 or 32. And the manager of Empire Theatre, whom she met, she asked that if there is any young man, she would like to take him as a partner because she was going to travel to Rangoon, Far East. She wanted to go to Sumatra, Java, Bali, Philippines, and go up to Japan, Tokyo. So he said, well, I know of a young man whose name is Ramgopal, and he loves dancing. But we have to take permission of his father, and if he agrees, then we can take him. We can take him in. So La Mary auditioned him, and she liked his dancing very much. And also at that time, she was learning Bharatanatyam from the local Devdasi, Vara Lakshmi or somebody in Bangalore, and she started learning very carefully. She's very clever. She learned dancing like nobody's business, like a blotting paper. She would imitate the item, whatever she would see. So she was, as Ramgopal told me later on, Lala Ripu, she learned that. This was also one of the items of Tillana, also she learned, etc. And she would perform a number of items from many countries. She can dance Honolulu, Hawaii dance, or she would put up a Spanish dance, and she would put up a Bharatanatyam costume and dance. So variety of dances. Wherever she went, she would go and learn a local item very beautifully and present the local dance. So because it was very popular, wherever she performed and she danced the local dance, people loved it. So Ramgopal said, okay, I would like to come. And then, though his father did tell him that, listen, you are going to repent. Listen to my advice. Don't go. But if you want to go, then it is good luck to you. So Ramgopal and La Mary traveled together. And they dance, and wherever they dance, whether in Java, Bali, Sumatra, the reviews were fantastic because both of them were very good dancers, and then the company was very good dancing also. And then it happened so that when they went and performed in Japan, in Tokyo, the newspaper wala gave a big write-up on Ramgopal and not gave much write-up on this lady La Mary. So she was very furious as per Ramgopal's statement that he got more publicity than the main lady who had brought him to Japan, Tokyo. So she decided to throw him out of the company, which is not true. As a matter of fact, later on we come to know that she was still in the company. She said, I'll pay you the money. If you want to stay, you stay back. Otherwise, you go. But it appears that Raghu was staying back.
One video on this, what you told. This story is there on the video also. Kumudini is also speaking there. Yeah, we'll just see that grandmother and how, the Japan and Disco. Just a minute, yeah.
He used to tell his
Will be
mother that I
interesting.
want to dance, I want to dance. He always wanted to dance. So there was no dance in the family. Later he told me once that his grandmother in Burma, his mother's mother, was a dancer. He had it in his blood. And that sort of kept creeping up, that urge to dance. And his father was very much against it. There was a Spanish dancer called La Mary who was touring in India. And Ram used to joke, she would do the Spanish dance in India and the Indian dance in Russia and the Russian dance in Europe. So she was no dancer at all. But she had a wonderful group and she was dancing, she was professional, very professional. And Ram went to her when she came to Bangalore and he said, I want to show you my dance. So she says, okay, and he danced. She said, you want to join my group? So he said, yes, but we are leaving tomorrow. He said, I'll go with you. And the next stop was Japan.
So he started traveling with her, wonderful costumes, crowns, silks, and he would pose as a god. Not that he knew much of dancing, but he would take postures like what you see in Halebid, Belur or Krishna's photographs. What you see in sculpture, and she would stand around him and dance something here and there, even though it was not clear what they were dancing, but it was quite interesting. Those were the times when Indian dancing was not known much to the Americans.
They went to Japan. He danced there in her group. And all the papers, the newspapers, the media, they talked only about him. So she got jealous. And one day, he found himself alone in his rooms, in his digs, and the whole group had left him there. Then he met one person who befriended him then for many, many years. He was Polish, and he took him to San Francisco from Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from Japan, he went to New York and he met also the great filmmaker Cecil the Meal and all. Ramgopal was very, very clever. He was a wonderful speaker and he'll charm anybody away. To the point that I used to tell Ramgopal that Ram, you're such a clever man. The way you speak, the money from my pocket will transfer into your pocket. He was so clever and very wonderful speaker, dancer, writer, organizer, etc. Later on, he was very serious when he came back to India and he settled on in Bangalore and his father supported him in a big way. Their house was called Turkey Castle and there he opened a school and they invited very great gurus, Guru Muthukumar Pillai, Guru Kitappa, Rani Sarabai joined, Tara Chaudhary, one of the dancers who had come from now in Pakistan, but now she was in India. She joined. Then Devi Saroja, that is Mohan Kokar's wife, young Saroja, she also joined. And there are a number of other dancers who were performing along with him. And his troupe became very well known. Even during the time of war with the ENSA, they traveled for the military camp and all and entertained people. But the way he became very well known was more in London. London just loved him. They adored him, and he was almost called like Nijinsky of India. And in one of the programs, Ramgopal then told me that Nijinsky had come to see. Now, Nijinsky was a great figure from the time of Diaghilev and Anna Pavlova. And Nijinsky met him backstage, and there is a photograph also which Ramgopal used to show. We'll see in one of the films, the photograph also. And Ramgopal's fame spread far and wide all over the Europe, in various other cities in Europe, also in America. He became very, very well known. And it was also true that because he was presenting classical Bharatanatyam, classical Kathak, classical Kathakali, the impression of classical Indian dance was becoming more and more clear. People did not call only it Oriental dance. Earlier, what we saw when he's moving his arm around like that was like considered as Oriental dancing. It was a la Uday Shankar. Uday Shankar used to perform like that very beautifully. But beyond that, the classical form got good recognition through Ramgopal. The critics in London, Arnold Haskell, Cyril Bomo, in America, John Martin, Walter Terry, they were the great critics, and they wrote very highly of him. And because of this presentation and good reviews, etc., people flocked to his theatre. One of the interesting stories Kumudini says in the film is about that there were matinee shows in London on Wednesday and Sunday. There will be matinee show. So in the matinee show, who were the crowd? So Kumudini says very charmingly that all the women came, and we were wondering that what are we dancing for? Everybody's coming to only watch him as a god. Then what are we dancing here for? So very interestingly, but it's true that he had a very magical stage presence. The command was great. He was not only handsome, his costumes were very beautiful, his dancing very impressive, good lighting, good presentation. What they call as an art of showmanship. The showmanship was very great. And the way people loved him in London, as we'll see in the film when he talks about teaching, when he opened the school in London. For Indian classical dance. I think it is also in the film. Is it ready there in the clipping? Then he talks about, okay, I am the man and she the woman. He talks to the British audiences there. There's a lovely sequence there. So his contribution was very great in terms of establishing Indian classical dance abroad, as much as it was by that time, because he was contemporary of Devi Arundel, who had established already Kalakshetra. Already Kerala Kalamanda was there, Gurudev Shanti, Gurudev Tagore had already established Shanti Niketan. And there was a great urge about Indian dance. By the 40s and 50s, Indian classical dance became extremely popular. Even Pandit Nehru was very fond of him.
Yeah.
And Nehruji also liked his dance very much. He performed for Nehru at the
Hello, Yashwant.
Yeah.
Before I go off, what do you want me to say?
Please speak about Ramgopal ji, where you met him and how you have,
now,
please tell.
Everyone knows Ramgopal as a very famous dancer, right?
Yeah.
And what a wonderful personality he was.
Yeah.
I joined Ramgopal in 1948. March of 90. I was 18 years old when I joined his company.
Okay.
And I was with him for years and years and years. First, I was just a member of the company, and then I became his partner, his leading lady. Then I was his leading lady. When we did wonderful shows, we did the Edinburgh Festival. Then, you know the Festival Hall in London?
Royal Festival Hall.
Yeah. Oh, network got freeze network.
We did the opening of that.
Okay.
And for that, he created the. Now he just went all out for that Taj ballet. He had Lady Frida Harris. Do the costumes, and he asked Komalata Datta to do the music, but she couldn't come. She was sick.
Okay.
So my husband Rajni Lakhia did the music, and that was the opening of the London Festival hall in London,
Wow.
the opening. And after that, with Ramgopal, I must have gone to every country in Europe, in America, the Americas, all the South American countries, except for Russia, we went everywhere. We went to Poland, we went to Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Spain, Greece, Italy, everywhere.
Wow.
Everywhere. And then I went and stayed with him in Bangalore.
Okay.
He was teaching me Bharatanatyam. I went and stayed with him in Bangalore in his house. He said, now you learn properly.
Okay.
So he asked Krishna, another famous dancer, you know Krishna Rao? US Krishna Rao. He asked Krishna to teach me.
Okay.
Now, Krishna was he was a dancer, but he was also a professor of science in a college. So he had to go, he had to go to college. So I had to go to his house at 6 in the morning. I would just cycle there. I used to cycle to Krishna.
Okay.
House. Family house. Torquay Castle it was. Torquay Castle.
Okay.
It was divided between all the brothers and sisters.
Okay.
He had one brother, two sisters. The upstairs was half Rams and half brothers. Downstairs was half one sister and half another sister. And his one sister was married to that very famous musician, Victor Paranjoti. Gudu, one sister was married to Victor. And she had two daughters. And one of those daughters is now in Germany. She plays the piano.
Okay.
And sons, his brother's children didn't do much. The brother just had some workshop somewhere. And they were not on talking terms. So we're not supposed to talk to them. Then his elder sister was Jessie. Jessie had one son who was in the army, Vikram. And very smart. All the girls were in love with him. So this was the wonderful. And they had that old servant of theirs from the father's time who used to look after all of us.
Okay.
And huge house. And the center hall was the dance room where we used to practice our dance and learn our dance and all that. And it had a very big garden, not very well kept. Now, about Ram's dance. Ram was not a great dancer, mind you, but he was a great showman. Showman and intelligent, well-read, artistic, aesthetic, everything.
Wow.
Every line of your hand has to be perfect. Discipline. Every morning, exercise. Discipline. And your arms have to be like, he would stand behind me and say, right hand down, left hand up, you know. That is how he taught me Bharatanatyam. Perfectly, you know. I did not know Bharatanatyam at all, but the way he taught me, it was just wonderful. And then after that, in the shows I used to do with him, I used to do Tilana, I used to do other programs of Bharatanatyam with him. Then we both used to do Kathak. Lots of duets we did. And dance with Ram, I think, the longest. Then I also stayed with him in Bangalore in his house with his family. And so it was a very close connection with Ram. And then I came back, got married. I had a little son. He came back. He said, we have to go back again to the Edinburgh Festival.
Okay.
I said, now. He said, oh, no, you have to come. Doesn't matter about Edinburgh, but come on tour with me. Then he made me, in my house we used to practice. My husband used to do the music. Then we went to the Nervi Festival, Italy. That was the first festival we went, Nervi, Italy.
Okay.
From there to different festivals in Germany, in Greece, in different festivals in Italy, in France, and we went to England. And then from there, we went to New York.
Oh.
We went to New York. City Center Theatre. The City Center, it is no more there. It's not there anymore now.
Okay.
The City Center Theatre. And we had a whole week over there.
Okay.
Then there was a festival where there was Russian ballet and Indian dance. So there I was able to meet a lot of Russian dancers.
Okay.
You know? And they used to come and learn a little bit with us, and it was a wonderful to go out for dinners together. It was really, my time with Ram was the happiest time of my life. And all the discipline that I got in dance was because of Ram.
Wow.
And the idea of choreography. Because we saw Spanish dance, we saw every kind of dance in every country.
Correct.
So I got this idea of what dance should look like. Not only the format of Bharatanatyam and the format of Kathak and the format of Odissi. That is what we have here. But there, dance was something different. It didn't have to follow these very rigid rules of the gurus. It had to be free from the gurus. So that is what I was taught. And that is why in Kathak, I got free from the gurus. With the gurus, it was, whenever we did Abhinay, it was already about mythology. Krishna, Radha, Ram, Sita. And I was tired of these gods. Wanted to give them a little rest. So I started doing
abstract dance.
Tapkar means pulse.
क्या बात है, pulse.
Pulse.
So I thought if the doctor now takes my pulse, he will hear Kathak goes there. So I called my first this thing, Tapkar. Natya Shastra tells us a lot of things about the neck and the eyes and the nose and the ears and everything, but not about the pulse. Where's the pulse of the dance? You know? So this is a search for pulse. The next I did was Atah Kim, means where do I go from here? Reading. You had to read a lot. It's a wonderful library. And each time he went into his room, he would say, pull out that book. Turn to page so-and-so. He had almost by heart all his books, you know, and read that. Read that. So that reading habit was there with me. And that helped me a lot. His association, his artistry, his taste in clothes, his taste in decoration, his taste in how to keep a home. It was really, I mean, I learned so much from him. More than I would have learned from a mother, I think. And almost every day I miss Ram.
So
because
sweet.
he's, I got so much from him. So much.
So
To the whole world almost with him. Almost.
Wow.
Whole
Amazing.
world. And he used to treat us very nicely. Very, very nicely. Like, you know, we went to Europe just after the war. So there were, you know, in Germany, The hotels didn't have bathrooms, only toilets. We had to go to the common bathroom in the city, pay and have a bath.
Oh.
So Ram used to take a room with a bathroom, fancy, expensive. Then he would tell all of us to come and have a bath there. You know, things like that we used to do. Though it was illegal, but slyly we used to slip in and have a bath.
He was very caring. So nice.
Right. That's very funny also.
Said Ram, it's only me. It's only me. So he was very sweet man, very nice man, very nice man, full of. He had so many good points to him, except he was not a good dancer. He was a great dancer, but he was not a good dancer. He couldn't count beyond 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, nowadays we learn 5 and 5.5 and 4 and 3/4. He wouldn't do that. He 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything had to fit into 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you tell him anything which has this ada, you know, he says, "What kind of music is this? Very stupid." You know, he didn't understand that. The Tara system, he didn't understand it.
I think his form of dance was all about within the nature, you know, just coming in. Yeah.
So that was Ram.
Great. So
he became very, very. Government used to pay him to stay alive. Very old, he went into hospital, and then he passed away. He passed away. His famous dance was the dance of the Golden Eagle.
Oh yeah.
Dance of the Golden Eagle. Yeah. And someone had made a beautiful statue of the Golden Eagle.
Correct. I have seen it somewhere. A nice statue in front of his table.
And he said to me, "Kumi, you take this Golden Eagle back with you. Back with you." I gave it to one person both of us knew, to send it to me, and that person did not send it to me.
Oh.
She took it herself.
Oh. So
these things happen, you know.
In fact, can you tell us about his fascination for this eagle or Garuda? Because after you tell, I will show a small video. He had a lot of fascination about this Garuda.
So
and
that's about Ram.
Yeah.
You can show the video. Jaywant, show the video then.
Yeah. I'll show a
video. He was very, very vain, you know, always wanted to dress very nicely in silks and this, and very in his room there'll be joss sticks and wonderful perfumes and all that. Very, very, very vain. Always wanted to be very well dressed with his perfumes and with his cloaks and he would never go anywhere by bus or no. He had to have a taxi.
Okay.
If he didn't have a car, he must have a taxi. When we went to the ballet, we'll be in the best of seats. You know, we'll be in the box. And so he wanted the best of everything. The best of everything.
Very nice.
Then we'll go to the best restaurant for food. So that was Ram. He wanted the best of everything. And sometimes I used to be so embarrassed. He would sometimes introduce me as, "This is Kumi, India's best dancer."
Okay.
India's best. Yeah, they must know that. He was like an elder brother to me, like an elder brother.
Wow. Amazing.
I was so
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Namaskar. Thank you
Namaste.
so much for sharing.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you.
Sunil.
Ah,
Hi,
bye.
Sunil.
Lovely.
Namaste,
But
Yashwant.
good memory. Many
No.
things I
That
didn't know
was
about.
okay.
Thank you so much.
बहुत मजा आई सरस सरस show the film now. That eagle, golden eagle.
हाँ, because उसके ऊपर I want you to also tell that
Yeah.
what, because I have seen many of this
There was a
about this
film.
Garuda or golden eagle. I'll just show, then I want you to speak. Yeah.
Actually, this is taken from Kathakali, the
Okay.
bird eagle, and then he transformed it very beautifully. And I'm told that wings are made with real gold, and they are
Oh,
still preserved. Yeah, they are preserved in the British Museum in London.
okay.
And
Wow.
he never worried about the money, but he wanted to make it the most beautiful thing, etc. There's one more
Ah,
story about him that when he came to know that Anna Pavlova and Umesh Shankar had performed Radha and Krishna, so he
ah,
invited Alicia Markova, another dancer
ah,
in London, to play the
correct.
role of Radha, and both of them
Correct.
performed Radha and Krishna, and the Queen Elizabeth came to see their dance also. So
Oh,
there are legend about the man had led a wonderful life. It is not very easy to confine within an hour to tell everything about him. But
exactly.
whatever info we got or whatever Kumudini Lakhia said about his personality, etc., it is most
Correct.
marvelous thing. But we don't have any. Luckily, in France, one Madame Claude Lamoris, her husband was Lamoris, a French
Mm,
filmmaker who made a film,
mm.
Paris Jamais Vu, and they were going to make a big film on Ramgopal as a young man who brought up in Banaras and then became a great dancer. Unfortunately, the film was made by David Lean, one of the great film directors. But the film could
Okay.
not take place. But they made later on, after Mr. La Morris passed away, his wife,
Mm.
Lord La Morris, she took up a decision and they made a film. So some of the film version which you showed us, etc. You can see
Correct.
some more version of the film also because there's an idea about how Ram Gopal made his journey and what was his concept of the Indian classical dance to put at the top of the world. As
Mm.
Kumudini said, that when he produced the story of Taj Mahal and
Yeah.
the legend of Taj, and something
Yeah.
was marvelous. People were taken aback when they saw he was, as she writes, he's not a great dancer, but he's a great showmanship. There's no doubt
Yeah.
about his understanding. And he kept his head very much up in America or in London.
Mm.
He wouldn't
Yeah.
bother about anybody. He couldn't
Yeah.
care about anyone. But he was
Mm.
very fond of ballet. He would meet Maya Kaya. There was a great dancer by name Galina Ulanova in London when I was there. He came to meet
Mm.
her. They met very
Mm.
beautifully. He gave her flowers. Maya Kaya, Galina Ulanova, like Bala Saraswati. Galil Radha was a very great dancer. He was very fond of Bala Saraswati also. Ramgopal
Yeah.
loved Abhinay. Kalanidhi
Yeah.
Narayan. He was very fond
Yeah.
of jewelry. So when I met him last time in 2000, he asked me privately, Hare, Sunil, tell me, has that Rukmini Devi still got that mala? I love that mala, was very beautiful. So his interest was, he was very human being. That he
Mm.
will talk about his contemporaries, he will talk about Shantarao, about his other dancers he knew very well. His another one dancer was a very famous film photographer called Cartier-Bresson. He had married a
Okay.
Javanese lady,
Mm.
Ratna Cartier-Bresson. He had danced with her also. And his
Mm.
range is so amazing that you can begin from one end to go to another end, etc. Because that was the time that Uday Shankar and Ram Gopal were the ultimate in Indian dance. I don't know any other Indian dancer can ever think or compare themselves with what these two men had in their life, what they saw, what they presented, what they did. Very great parakram. As I tell about a story, once we were in Kerala and
Mm.
gone for that body massage. So
Ah.
Ramgopal had invited some 5, 7 French dancers, old dancers. They said, come, you'll become very young. Have this
Mm.
massage. In the
Mm.
massage, then you have to do observe certain regulation about eating food or not. So Ramgopal
Correct.
said, forget everything. Come on, let's call a taxi. We'll go in a taxi to Cochin side somewhere and a big restaurant and we eat. So one day when
Mm.
we went there, we were very hungry. By the time we put an order, it takes time to prepare food and
Correct.
come out of the kitchen. So he saw another couple sitting and eating there. He went straight to them. Oh, you don't mind, Anna? I have half of it. Can I take half of the food? You take from my food when it comes. So I had almost under the table. I said, what are you doing? But he had a great heart. People
Ah.
understood he was a great artist. Nobody minded. He said, sure, sir, you
Mm.
can take it. And when we'll come, he said, when you come to London, I'll give you good food. You give me good food
Ah.
in Kerala. He was very fond of his great guru. He had a great love for Indian dance. And
Mm.
as we know that when he passed away, as Kumudini rightly said, when I had gone to meet him last time in Norbury, where he was staying, he was put in a Norbury orphanage where people were taking good care of him. And it was
Ah.
a health home. And people used to go and meet him, and he would also ask for Gujarati chapati. He was very fond of. Once he went
Ah.
to in Delhi, Uma Sharma's house in Nizamuddin. He told Uma Sharma, I want the Gujarati chapati. You make chapati for me. He was very warm-hearted man. We almost stayed for almost a month in Bengali market. And
Acha.
there was a lady, and then we'll go every evening to Kamani Hall. We'll go to, Ashoka Hotel to see dance performances by Indrani Rahman, Radha Radha Reddy, all the young dancers. He was very fond of them. And he would
Mm.
encourage them. He had a great desire and a great love for Indian dancement. In
Mm.
the final year in London, Meera Kaushik, she had done a great show, and he was put up on the top of the wonderful place, and he was
Mm.
considered to be a great. We both had also worked a lot, and he got to lectures vagere at the Bharati Vidya Bhavan in London. The
Mm.
center of Bharati Vidya Bhavan was open, and Ram Gopal used to come there and watch classes there regularly. He had great love, and whoever would come to London, he had a large heart. He would go and watch the dance. It was not
Mm.
important, but I remember once we came with Yamini Krishnamurti in
Ah.
1971. Yamini Krishnamurti and I were together. So he invited Yamini and her father, okay, come on, let's go and have lunch, but I want to go and practice. So we had a
Mm.
studio and both of them practice. Both of them
Mm.
did the Alaripu together. He would stand behind her. She'll sit down and do the Alaripu. And wonderful time they had. He was a great admirer of Yamini Krishnamurti. We also admire him. And there are several other memories of him. He was very fond of reading what Kumudini said. And he
Ah.
would give me a book on God Who Dance. The film that Ayesha Abraham made was found in some tin box. The film was made in 1938-39, color film.
Oh.
You should be there where he shows the head gesture, the
Correct.
becoming of the. It's an old film, very lovely. And she
Mm.
titled it when I saw God dance. That was the title she gave. Of which
Mm.
we have shown some of the excerpts we were able to see. I don't know
Mm.
if you can show the one when he talks to the British audience in London. That is
Mm.
for the film.
In fact, I would like to show some pictures of the legend of the Taj once, and a
Show that.
film
Show,
about that. Like because Komindini ji also mentioned. So
show it.
such
Yeah.
uh,
Because he had done Kathak, this in Kathak dance form,
yeah,
and
just
Kathak. But as she said, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
But you look very good. That's
Yeah.
lovely. Mumtaz Mahal and Shah Jahan.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see the backdrop, the
Yeah.
palace, the
Amazing.
costume, wonderful
Yeah.
costumes in the
Yeah.
palace.
Yeah.
And we were very impressed. Legend of the Taj in 1956 that was shown. And that is
Dekhiye.
where one is Satyavati, another dancer. One is one Brazilian dancer. At the back, there are other two dancers who I can recognize. But it was a presentation of it. You can see the gazebo here, the palatial, all backdrops are beautifully done. It was one
Absolutely.
of the finest productions in India, yeah. There's no doubt. And
I think here what Kumudini ji said, we can not only see pulse of the dance, but pulse of the Taj Mahal, I think. Something amazing.
He's right.
I mean, and we also see one very short video of this, very old one, so that we can have some thought process. 1 minute.
Okay.
Through the multiple mirrors on his palace walls, each thought creating 1,000 movements.
And the god disappeared.
The god disappeared. So very, very interesting. Like you all said, the
charismatic character, very charismatic.
thought process, his thought process about dance beyond certain fixed parameters. Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Is there anything more in the film?
Yeah. There's a short one about he went and I think met one of his gurus. We'll just see that. Yeah.
That's the one. I'm also there in the frame. I go and then we took it to the Palghat where his guru was staying there. That one
just a part of the time. I'll just.
Great affinity that we had, not just from learning the dance in the classroom, but going to the local temples, going to the village temple every evening, in the great Tanjore temple, and with my guru doing the puja, the prayers like one would in a Western church, with the lights and the drums and the music and the chanting and the flutes and the nadaswaram. And that does work on you. The real gurus, those wonderful men that taught the dance, very old, even when I was a child, they always wanted me to read the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads, because then my understanding of what I was supposed to represent would be more enlightened.
The god Shiva, king of dancer, god of the dance, and Krishna, whose flute awakens the soul to rhythm and truth. Whose flute, that is the human soul, the dancer's soul, must awaken its soul to rhythm and truth in its divinest sense. Then and only then is the dancer worthy of the instrument of his body and the complete crushing of the mortal human ego. I think it was that great sage, Jalaluddin Rumi, a great Sufi saint, who said, "Whosoever knoweth the power of the dance dwelleth in God." And I think that just about sums it up.
He's right. Whoever dances, in him God lives. Wonderful. It was wonderful to have his memory down the memory lane. Thank you, Jaywant. You did a good job of the film set making so Kumudini speak. So she had a problem hearing, but she told beautiful stories, made us all laugh.
Yes,
Very,
yes.
very
I think it was
great
amazing.
memory.
All
Yeah.
of you have come. It has been so nice, that we could, remember Ram Gopal in these difficult times and his work. And I think he also got the Order of the British Empire sometime in
He
his.
was being a fellow, Ratna Sadasya of Sangeet Natak Academy.
Oh, okay.
He was
So,
honored British Empire by Queen Elizabeth. He was given
ah,
the title. Yeah.
okay.
But
Yeah.
I believe people in London loved him. He was very fond of London, and
Ah,
people abroad also loved him very much. And
ah,
right, he passed away in London only, and
ah.
all his collection has gone now to the British Museum, and
Okay.
been looked after by one friend of his who was in working in the British Indian High Commission. Pam,
Ah,
her name is Pam, and she looked
mm,
up. There is one lady, another professor by Anne David. She's working
ah,
upon the Rajinda's, story. Many things are being put together. Now,
mm,
then hundreds of things are there because his collection was marvelous of his brochures, photographs, leads, wherever they perform in each city, his
mm,
dancing together with Tara Chaudhary or the beautiful photographs, etc.
mm,
And I think part of the recording which is done by Ayesha Abram is the most marvelous one. I think that is the beautiful one that has been done, and we all believe that that ultimately remains as one of the record of his dance. There is something also by the British Pathe that he used to dance when the display of sculptures were shown of Indian dance sculpture. That he was
mm,
invited by the museum, Victoria Museum, to perform and dance, and he performed
mm,
very beautifully. And it was wonderful that he danced over there, which is still recorded. Very few people know that he had acted in the film also. He had acted in a film with
oh,
Gregory Peck, and then Purple Plain, and he
mm,
becomes a manager somewhere in Rangoon. Also, he had worked a dance in Elephant Walk and with who and the great Elizabeth Taylor, the famous
ah,
Hollywood film actress. It wasn't
yeah.
acting, but there is some sequence where they see him, and then dance of Sri Lanka is being shown, etc. So it's
Mm,
amazing. His career was not an ordinary career. He was in the film. He was lecturing. He was there in Venice. The film he showed was part done in Venice. I had to go and stay with him in Venice, and we wanted to do the film biography of him, but he will not let us know the date. His name was called BISSANO. BISSANO stood for 20th November 1912. He was born on 20th November
ah,
1912. He was called BISSANO. But he said, no, no,
ah,
no, you can't write. I was born very much later. He didn't want to tell his real age. But people knew that he was already old because he was
mm,
contemporary of Bala Saraswati,
ah,
Ramgopal, Uday Shankar, Devin all. And 1912 was his date of birth. And he lived a very full life. His
mm,
friends were wonderful friends. Whenever I met any of his friends in London or Paris, they were wonderful to him. One of his friends was Munira Portale, whose daughter came, Lolo Portale, Lawrence Portale. She came to Kuchipudi, to
mm,
Vempatikina Satyam, and studied Kuchipudi. He also was very fond of one Kamadev. Ramgopal taught Kamadev Bharatanatyam and sent him to U.S. Krishna Rao to study Bharatanatyam, and he
mm,
also done Saraikela Chhau. So Kamdev is a very handsome man, but Ram Gopal was very fond of him and taught him good dancing. He said,
mm,
such a good dancer can become my successor. There's
mm.
another young man by name Raghunath Mane, who is
Okay.
from Pondicherry, and he studied at Kalakshetra. Raghunath Mane played the role of the Garuda, what you saw, because he learned the costume of Garuda and Avignon festival and in Monaco, Monte Carlo.
Ah,
He
ah,
performed the Garuda dance to pay tribute to Ram Gopal. And Ram Gopal was very pleased. There were photographs of Ram Gopal and Raghunath Mani. So the journey is timeless, according to me. His journey across the moment I start remembering, I remember so
mm,
many things. I remember. I
ah,
was very fortunate that he took kindly to me like his younger brother. And I often
ah,
stayed with him in Norbury and went through all his collection. Only thing we couldn't finish his biography. Then I said, as a historian, if I write wrong things, my career will go fat. So I said, no, I'm happy to write biography, but let us have these memories. So
ah,
memories are more important now. And
ah,
before the memories fade, we can recollect them. And that was a good idea that we managed to get Kumudini also.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that you worked out.
Thanks to you, you could give us
Thank you also. All the
really.
friends are watching. I can see number of people here. Santosh Nair, I can see
Yeah.
Suraj Biswal, and I said, Tarak Malla, Hema Ramgopal, Vinita,
Yeah,
Dilke. All these
yeah.
people are being seen here, Vaishali Trivedi and all. I'm glad
Yes.
that people who like Ramgopal, or thanks to you and because the advanced publicity that we have done, lot of people watch. And I'm sure this can will go and YouTube later on.
Yeah, this will go so that it goes all over the world in this difficult times, and this generation, the new generation also should know, along with the existing generation, that so much is possible when you go in an art sphere in terms of creativity, in terms of thought process, but that hard work, that discipline, as you say, I mean, time and again has to be there. So really, it's been great. So Sunilji, thanks a lot for coming on the program. So as usual, we will close with a video. As soon as the video ends, we close the show. We'll just see once again. Thanks a lot. Thanks to Kumudini ji. Thanks to everyone for joining. 1 minute. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's the best acting. Thank you. Lovely.
Oh, thank
My
you.
friend Lakhia is watching from Toronto. Hema
Yeah.
Ramgopal is watching from Chicago.
Yeah,
and our own friend from Madhu is watching from Hyderabad. Very good. Thank you, everybody. Namaskar to everyone. And we meet again for some more dancer. We'll work it out with Jaywant. Another great dance we'll talk about later on. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.